Hello everyone and welcome back. In this video, we're going to talk about for loops. So basically, for loop is same as while loop, but there is a major difference. In the last video, which is about while loop, you've seen that while keeps running the block until the condition is still true. But in for loop, you have to iterate through a specific range, but the logic is the same. So let's dive into the code. I'm going to create an array first. It's going to be a string array. To iterate through this array, we write for and declare a variable like this and write in my array. So that's all you have to do. If you check the type of item, you'll see it's a val, which is a string. So it iterates through your array and gives you every single item that it has. So let's print the value of each item inside my array. So let's run the code now. As we expected, we see all the values here. You can also iterate through a range. So let's say you want to iterate through 5 to 10. Then you'll write 5 followed by 2 dots to 10. And you just want to print item. And if you check the type of your item, it's an int because the computer realized that you're going to iterate through a range between 5 to 10, so the numbers are integer and the item that you are going to get through each iterate is going to be an integer as well. So let's run the code. It went from the 5 to 10, and if you check it here, it says we're going to iterate between 5 to 10, and we will get the values that are greater and equal to 5 and less and equal to 10. So there's one more cool thing that you can do is you can iterate down, which means you can go from the higher value to lower value. To do that, you write the higher value and write down to the value that you want. And let's run the code again and see the results. It's 2215. There's one more cool feature about for loops, which is called step, which means that you can define how many steps or how many indexes you want to jump at each iterate. For example, if you set this step to 2 and run the code, then you'll see it's iterated by 2. So it started from 20, 18, and 16. So if you make it to 3, you have to see 20 and 17 only, I guess. Yep. And the last thing that you should know about for loop is until keyword. So if we go back to 5 to 10, you'll see it includes the lower number and the higher number. But what if we want to go to 5 and to 9? I mean, to not get the last indexes. To do that, we write 5 until 10. And as you can see, it includes the 5, but it's going to the number before 10. So if you print that, you'll see we have 5 to 9. Okay, right now for your homework, we're going to get 4 numbers from a user and print the average of it. So pause the video and do your homework. It's time for the answer. First of all, we're going to declare an array. It's called myArray with 4 items with default value inside it. And then we're going to use a for loop. For example, I, which is going to represent my index in 0 to 3. which is also my indexes range. So for each time we're going to print some message to user that please enter your I number, and after that we are going to clear a val and get the data from the user. So received number is equal to readline, but we don't want a null string, we want an integer. So to do that we write to int, and you'll see an error here, which is because the readline is a nullable string, and to convert it to a not null value you have to check the value if it is null or not. To do that we have to check if our received number should not be null, and if it is not null we are going to assign the value that we are taken from the user to the specific elements with the specific index, which means the my array at index of I is going to be received number. And you will see an error here because it wants an integer, but we provided a string here. So to convert it to int, we have to write to int. So after that, after we took all the values from the user and the for loop ends, we then can use another loop to loop through the my array, then item in my array. But before that we are going to create a variable called sum to summarize all the numbers, and we set the initial value to 0. Then for each item we are going to say that our sum is going to be the previous value plus the item value. And the IntelliJ tries to help you that to say you can also write this statement like this. So after that we have the summarized value, but we have to divide it by 4, which is the number of our inputs. So we can write like this, sum divided by 4. So let's run it. 5 number 1 is going to be 3 number 7 and 8. Well, it turned out the average of it is 5, but it's not exact 5. It has some decimal number. So if you write 5 plus 3 plus 7 plus 8, it's going to be 23. And 23 divided by 4 is something like 5 and let's say 7 or something like that. But to get the decimals after that, we have to convert our sum, which is an int, to a double or a float. And after that, you will see the decimals after number 5. I'm going to write 3 even number and 1 odd number to make sure I'll get decimals. So as you can see, it's 5.25. So that's it for this video. I'll see you on the next one.